Obviously, the food has changed for England so much over the last 60, 70 years, but cutlery never really kept up. While I'm talking about using a knife and a fork and a spoon to eat curry, my grandma would be like, eat with your hands. Why in Thai and Vietnamese restaurants do you get a fork and a spoon? In classic restaurants, you get a fork, a spoon, and a knife. But in desi, old school restaurants, you just get a spoon. Now, British dining etiquette means you hold the fork in your non-dominant hand and your knife in the dominant hand. I'm left-handed, hence the knife in the left hand. And that you put you put the grains of rice against the tine of the fork, the back of the fork, and then you spoon it into your mouth as so. What nonsense, bro, when it comes to eating rice. That's ridiculous. But the idea in British food and European food is that you don't actually have rice and curry back in the days. All you have is huge steaks, huge fillets of fish, where you need your dominant hand to actually cut the lamb when you're actually cooking and enjoying and then spearing it with the fork. But of course, when you go to a Thai restaurant, you'll see that you never actually get a knife. You get a spoon and a fork. And that's because in East Asia, Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese, the idea is that the knife is left in the kitchen and not on the dinner table. The dinner table you shouldn't need to cut. It's the Confucius way of cooking, apparently. I didn't know this. And what that means is when you go to these restaurants, that's why you always see, for example, like just a spoon and a fork, because you're supposed to be shoveling it in with your mouth. In British etiquette, however, the idea of shoveling food into your mouth is seen as unwholesome and not something that you want to be doing at the dinner table. Now, along the way, when it comes to, these amalgamation of cultures, the beauty of London, which is the fact that you've got an Indian restaurant on this corner, a Vietnamese restaurant across the road, a sushi restaurant over there, which means all these dining trends have merged, but cutlery hasn't kept up, which is why, for example, at Paro, whereas, for example, in taxi style restaurants or like old school desi restaurants, out, for example, in East London, you'll just have spoons to eat your food with and shovel it. Here, you'll have a whole set, the knife, the fork, and the spoon. And what you realize is that in Indian restaurants, waiters will never know why, but you're always supposed to keep the fork on the left, the knife on the right, and the spoon here. Waiters are always trained with that. It's because with English way of dining, you keep the knife in your right hand. They never understand that until you explain them why.